What's going on YouTube? It's your boy GZTV. Sorry about the lack of the stream today. I was watching a little football. I was streaming. Yeah. My apologies. I'm going to get these videos out for you guys real quick. 2 videos. Obviously the Ozark review. We've been steadily watching that. We have one more edited review actually coming out to you guys tomorrow. So I'm going to get this going, and then right after we're going to be doing the weekly Trek Roundup. Pretty big week of music. That'll be a pretty decent video there. So yeah, we're going to talk about acceptable risk here in this episode and this review for Ozark. My phone is losing battery hella quickly. Alright, so let's kind of talk about what's happening. So the centerpiece of this second season is a tense, scary episode of Ozark that centers on 2 hammer-wielding forces coming down on the Byrds and Langmores in the form of the FBI and the Mexican drug cartel. I mean, things are just crashing down on these people. They're not really going their way. It's getting kind of unfortunate. I mean, you know, they got people to rat. They've bugged everybody, and yeah, Petty's finally thinking he's going to be able to break the case. We're going to have to see how that, you know, how it resolves itself. I mean, I'm going to be watching another episode tonight, so yeah. So, the former is represented by the horrible human being that is FBI agent Roy Petty, and the latter by the take-no-bullshit attitude of cartel attorney Helen Pierce. These are some assholes. These are not people pleasers, necessarily. These are some pretty shitty human beings. It's interesting that the writers of Ozark have very purposefully made the traditional good guy and Agent Petty into a loathsome creep, trying to offset the moral quandary at the center of the show. Should we be rooting for Marty Byrde and his family, or should we be rooting for them to get caught? I mean, we're not really... So there's a lot of questions in the air. I mean, other shows, they really paint the picture like, yeah, please root for the protagonist, even if they're doing something wrong. Again, Breaking Bad comes to mind a lot of times. You know, Breaking Bad seems to be the standard for TV shows, so yeah, I'm going to keep comparing it to that. So, let's be honest, not only is he keeping multiple... Sorry if I'm, like, fucking zoning out. Let's be honest, not only is he keeping multiple illegal operations afloat, but his actions have led to several deaths, and it's been super fucked up. And yet the writers make Petty such a horrendous human being that we find ourselves rooting for the criminals. It's kind of crazy how that works. It's almost like an equalizer that the writers are pulling off there. Several key plot twists unfold this episode, but it's also an episode heavily reliant on the past, as the FBI investigation forces several skeletons to come tumbling out of the closet. Most importantly, Petty lets Marty Byrde know that his right-hand woman, Ruth Langmore, tried to kill him 3 months ago. Yeah, that's right. That's not even manipulations, and that's not even, like, twisting the truth. My bad. I thought I was still in the Discord, but I'm not. I didn't want to be making a video while I was in the Discord. But, what was I talking about? Fuck. Oh, my God. The dock was wired in the same way it would be when she killed her uncles. Makes sense, yeah. It happened. I mean, he's not lying about that. He's not just trying to be a piece of shit there. It's only one of several attempts by Petty to get under Marty's skin and convince him to go into protective custody, put his family into witness protection, all this type of stuff. Bateman is very good in this episode as an actor. I mean, we can see the wheels turning in Marty's head as he tries to decide his next move and who he can trust. Some of what Petty says, like the fact that the Byrde kids could be tried as adults, seems to get under his skin, and when Pierce asks if he can really trust Ruth, he hesitates just long enough to make everyone nervous. Everyone's like, oh shit, well, we got a problem here, because if you can't trust this girl, you know, she's pretty much got the upper hand now, and it seems like she's working with the feds. While in the heat of stress, Marty also reminds Wendy that she cheated on him just loud enough for Charlotte to hear, and Charlotte and Jonah didn't know this before. They were obviously really good at hiding this from the kids. So, yeah. Charlotte passes the info on to Jonah. In their last scene, they talk about buying a van and running away. The kids, you know, they're trying to get the fuck out of here. Like, their family seems to be getting set up, and they could possibly be involved too. You know, they took drug money, you know, and the feds found it too. Let's hope that doesn't take up too much of the season there, them getting away. Runaway kid subplots can often be manipulative, and it feels like that would distract from what this show does well, in all honesty. But moving on to other parts of the story. Speaking of troublesome tykes, as we all surmised, Charlotte Byrde taking cash out of the wall at the Blue Cat Lodge turned into a problem. Obviously it was. While searching the Bird home, the FBI comes across Charlotte's half of the stolen money, minus a few hundred spent dollars, most of it on weed. And Petty uses it to try to convince Marty to flip. He's like, well, we got your money right here. You may think you have all your money hidden. You may think you got the situation handled. But no, we got your money right here in our hands. Like a legal superhero, Pierce swoops in just in time, not only to represent Marty against Petty, but to serve as a reminder to Mr. Bird that the cartel is watching and you better not make a wrong move. You better not say the wrong things to the feds so they get the wrong idea about everything. Yeah, it's a lot harder to turn into a rat when there's an enforcer for the company you're thinking of ratting out sitting next to you. So, yeah, obviously that shit's not happening. Again, Bateman is excellent, not saying a word as Petty lays out his case, just sitting there stone-faced as hell. This is Bateman's best episode of the second season to date, damn near the entire series. He was absolutely fantastic. It would be bad enough if Marty only had to worry about Pierce and Petty, but there are other concerns, most notably that the feds are mere minutes from tying his entire operation to that of the heroin-dealing Snells. So yeah, the Snells are involved, and everyone kind of knows this. The Snells seem like a really nice family, just like off doing their own thing, managing a farm and stuff. But no, these people aren't the greatest people in the world. Pierce and the Birds go to Darlene and Jacob and basically order them to burn their poppy fields, something which fans know that they won't just bow down and do, especially when this episode opened with Darlene again waxing rhapsodic about their land that's about to be defiled by the casino. Like, these people don't budge. They're very reluctant, they're very stagnant about everything. They want shit done their way, they want it to be fair, but I mean, they're all for like some fairness to a degree, but they're pretty cold-hearted people, so like if they don't get what they want necessarily, then yeah, things aren't going to go bad or are going to go good, and there's a lot of inner conflict in the business that we've seen from Marty to the Snell so far. They're understandably pissed. I mean, they entered into a deal with Marty and the Mexicans. They don't want to enter with multiple people. They want to build their own empire and have their own capital and all this stuff. They didn't do anything wrong. Why do they have to destroy their profits? This is their business. Jacob tells Pierce that he wants payment for his product even after it's destroyed, but Darlene has a stranger request. She wants Wendy to help her adopt a child. They're willing to do this if you give me a child. I mean, that doesn't seem important at all, but I guess to Darlene, they've really been stressing about it this season, and that's a very questionable thing this show has done. While Wendy plays along with this idea, Buddy sneaks into the fields and sets them ablaze. What a fucking savage. Buddy has just gotten better and better as the series going on. Considering he was on his deathbed an episode ago, it's a bit hard to believe he would light anything on fire, but Buddy has always been a man of drastic action. We don't really know everything about his past, but the show has tried to hint at the fact that this guy's been a part of some things. So, yeah. The real tension this episode came from a classic game that Petty played in which he made it look like Ruth Langmore could be a rat, and him being seen with her is going to tell the cartel something and make them assume things. Inside of the cartel's representatives, he intimidates Ruth in the parking lot of Lickety Splits, laying down all the dirt he has on her and making it look like she might be ready to burn and might be ready to say, oh, well, he did this. The cartel is doing all this. I'm linked with them and they're doing this, Ruth has to figure out how to survive without turning on Marty. It's going to be difficult for her. She makes it home where Daddy vows to protect her with firepower, leading to a potentially deadly shootout between the Langmores and the Mexicans. I saw this scene and was like, damn, shit is about to go left here. Cade is not going to be able to control himself, but thankfully the situation kind of died down. Ruth got like a punishment. Marty gets there in time to stop the bloodbath, but he needs to know the truth about Ruth. Did she try to kill Marty? Smartly, I mean, she confesses. She says that he needs to trust her, so if she can at least tell him what she did, then it's cool, If she had lied, Marty might have sold her out and said, well, she's doing this and that, and yeah. But he protects her, telling Pierce and her men that Ruth can be trusted. I mean, she confessed this. That really, signifies something. I think it means something, Pierce finds out for herself after an intense waterboarding situation, which will almost certainly scar Ruth for life, but she's still alive. I mean, for now. Ruth is getting risky here. She might be dying here this season. I'm not going to lie to you. It's getting bad for her. She's had a rough run this season. It felt like she was going to be the manipulative one. It felt like she was going to be the one on top at first, but this show is just, boom, flip that on its head, and yeah, Ruth is really under fire here. So it's going to be interesting. That's the developments. That's the thing I'm most excited about, to see how Ruth kind of deals with everything. But I got to talk about new music. I'm out, guys. Not really much of an